Hi everyone, and welcome to another Monday evening crafting time. My name is Lillian and I'm coming to you from Alberta, Canada. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I love what I do. So I really enjoy crafting and stamping and then sharing it. And then I also enjoy seeing what you make and when you share it back. So I love that two-way street. So just while people are hopping on, we've got beautiful weather here right now. It's finally spring, heading into summer likely. Our garden is up, the corn is up, that kind of thing. I've got a flowering tree right outside my door. And right now I'm doing way more yard work than I usually do. Usually my husband loves gardening. But because he can't do it right now, I'm his arms and feet, and so he's keeping me fairly busy. But it's fun to keep him occupied and that he can be outside enjoying it. So that being said, before I go down to my desk, in the comment section, tell me maybe one yard job, activity that you like to do, or maybe one that you really don't like to do. Of all the different yard jobs, I really like mowing the lawn, but I hate whippersnipping. So let us know in the comments below your favorite or maybe your least favorite. All right, and we will just go down to the desktop as we're doing that. Whoops, there we go. I've got you a little bit higher. Good to see everybody hopping on here tonight. Hi everyone, I'm so glad you're here. And I just need to now get things going that way. So I don't know. I'm going to start working with the project tonight. And the like to water flowers but don't like weeding. Yeah, I don't like weeding either, and Harry is finding weeds everywhere that need to be dealt with, and so I give him a certain amount of time and then say enough. But there we go. So it sounds like weeding isn't a thing of a lot of people. My favorite thing to do likely is to grab my book and enjoy the garden as I read and sip on my beverage. But I think that is going to come later, I think. So let's just get so I can see your comments and let's get going. Now there is a type of card that is really all the craze right now. And so I thought I would show you more than one way to do it, actually. So it's called the torn edge. So what it is when you tear a piece of the paper back and roll it back and get this kind of effect like this. Now, it doesn't mail well. This would be a hand-delivered one, or you could squish it, I suppose. But I really like this effect. So I wanted to show you actually 2 or 3 ways of doing it. So let's start with the basic way to begin with. I'm going to start with a piece of thick basic white cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So we'll fold that right now. Karen, you love this look, so do I. And that's why I had to play with it actually. So I just have started playing with it and I can see lots more potential. So there we've got our card base and we'll put that to the side. Then my next thing is to use a piece of just basic white that's 3 3/4 by 5. And then I got a piece of the Hues of Happiness designer paper. I'm going to use this side here. So what you can do first off is, first of all, decide if you want the tear to come from this side or from this side. Right now it doesn't matter a whole lot. And then just take your paper and tear. Now tear so that it's coming towards you like that. And you can decide how far you want it to go. And then leave a little space. My plan, sometimes I have to ad-lib a little bit if it doesn't work out, is to stamp down here. So I'm going to give, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches and go like that. Whoops, this one I'm going to tear this way. So this one I tore this one going up. This I'm sort of tearing this way, and then I've got some nice ruffled edges, and it is not an exact thing, and I know that stresses some of you. I've got another way of doing it with a die, so don't worry about it. So there we have it, just like that. Now I am going to bring in another piece. We're going to use this piece here, but I'm going to bring in another piece and my silicone mat and my water painters. And another thing you can do if you find tearing a little bit stressful and you want it maybe to be a little bit more controlled, you can actually dampen your paper. I don't do this because then it means I have to wait, but you can dampen your paper in the two areas you want to tear. And what that does is it softens the fiber up a bit. And then you can take it and just tear, and it tears a little bit more easily, and it might be a little bit more that frayed edge. So that is another option. But then your paper is wet, so you're going to have to either heat it with the heat tool, or whatever. So I'm just as happy doing this, but I wanted to show you that that is an option. So what you're going to do now is, this is where you do have to decide. Do I want the opening from this side, or do I want it from this side? Now this one I did from this side, so maybe I should do this one from this side and make it a little bit different. So I'm going to be curling that. If I'm going to stamp, I think I would like to stamp right now. This is the designer paper that's going to go in there. So I could stamp, I think I could stamp in either Melon Mambo or Night of Navy. And the word is going to be friend. So you tell me which color I should use, Melon Mambo or Night of Navy for this stamping. Well, I'm just getting this set up here. So Melon Mambo or Night of Navy for the stamping. Now my opening is approximately 1 3/4. So I want to cut this to give myself extra. So I'm going to do 2 1/4. So 2 1/4 would give me lots of border there. So Melon Mambo. Okay, we will use Melon Mambo. There we go. And I said 2 1/4, didn't I? Right. So we will go with 2 1/4. Now I can use that on another project or even the inside of the card. So let's just have a look-see. So this is going to eventually be poking out from here, and I'm going to stamp here. I'm going to stamp first. Whoops, this is a photopolymer. I better put a spongy surface underneath. Remember, photopolymer, the clear stamps, they don't have much of a cushion. So you do get a better impression if you put something soft underneath. And yeah, I'll put it right. Oh, get that flattened down. There we go. Whew, I love that font. All right, so I'll close this up so I don't have any accidents. Now what I'm going to do with this piece here is I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and I'm going to put the paper between my bone folder and my finger and just gently soften those fibers. Now, if you press too hard, you're going to get almost folds. So I find it pays to be patient. So I am softening that up. Whoops, my hand-eye coordination isn't working the greatest there. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in something that I can roll this on. And you can use most anything. I'm going to use a Stampin' Right marker right now and get the roll started. And just, I put one end on the pen, hold it there, and just roll. Now that gives a fairly good sized roll. If you want it smaller, then you can look for something smaller. I actually have a chopstick here from a Stampin' Up event years ago. So often I roll on this because this is about the size of a marker here, but it gets smaller down here. So now that I've softened that up, I'm going to make it a little smaller. Now, the smaller you go, the more likely you are to get those little crease marks too. So there, so I've got it pretty snug and like that. I want that to either be even or to be coming out the top. Doesn't really matter. That's just a personal preference. So now we've got, and it's going to go here and something like that. Okay, so all we have to do is fasten this down. What I like to do is put some adhesive here. Let me just see. Yeah, right about there. Oh, helps if I've got some adhesive coming out. And put it down, wrap it the way I want it. And then it needs to be held for a little bit, right? And if you're like me and you're not very patient, often I will use a clothespin, but that doesn't work. But I've got some tweezers here, so I'm just going to slide them in. These are those that when you let go, they're closed, and just hold them in place like that. So now we've got that like that. We'll take this out of the way. We are going to fasten this so it just lines up with the edge here. So I'm going to put some adhesive here and some adhesive here. And see if that's stuck yet. Oh yeah, I think so. And then I can put some adhesive here and line this up with the edge. And you can see why I cut it extra big. I didn't want to have to worry about it. Isn't that looking neat? Now you could put splatters on this or whatever, but I'm keeping it pretty basic right now. Now you can put it on dimensionals, and maybe I will this time. I did not on the last one, so why don't we do that? And I can't find my regular dimensionals, just my minis. So we'll use a lot of minis here. This is going to be a bit of a pain to take all these backings off. I better look a little more closely for my regular dimensionals. So take your pick tool, works well. There we go. There we go. And just like that, that's how quick and easy this can come together. And then you add embellishments that you enjoy and just have some fun with it. Let's see, we'll bring in some of these opal rounds. See, when we did that, we'll just go scatter a few, just a couple, just to add a little bit more. You have to have some embellishments, right? So there we go, just like that. And that is a torn edge card, but you can do other things. So this is with just white paper, and doing that, this was, I'm going to show you how I did that in a minute. Then when I was playing around, I thought, what about if I used designer paper? So here I use the Abstract Beauty designer paper and put my words in here. Now, I didn't even fasten this down. This is hot off the presses. I wondered if maybe with designer paper, because it's thinner, I wouldn't need glue, but I think I would like to put a bit of glue there. But so you can see how that went. Now, the Abstract Beauty designer paper is 4 by 6, and the piece I used here is 4 by 5.5, so the 1/2 inch one just fit in there, and that's just one sheet of the paper, so that worked perfectly. And so I'm offering a class with this coming up. You've seen it in my newsletter today or on my Facebook page. With the Abstract Beauty paper, we're going to make 6 different cards. This is not one of them. I will show it, but it's so if that's an interesting thing for you to do, or if you have designer paper and just want to sign up for the class to use designer paper, you can do that. It doesn't have to be Abstract Beauty, but in the class, Abstract Beauty designer paper is included. Now, I know at the beginning I said some of you do not like to tear. I know some of you get stressed out with that randomness. So this one here was not done with tearing, but it looks like it, right? So what I used on this one was I used the Deckled rectangles. So that's, they're brand new in the annual catalog. They're not part of a bundle. So I thought I would make this one with you as well. So just to show you yet another technique for achieving this look. So we have here, the friend in the last card came from Happiness Abounds. So I just wanted to show that to you. So what I am going to do here is bring in, again, this is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5, so at the halfway mark. And it's the thick basic white. It's nice and sturdy. I'm going to put that there. I'm just going to move these out of the way. And then we're going to, what I did was I took the very largest one from here, from the Deckled, and cut it out. And I just love these. I just love the shape. So you could end up with, let me just see here. You can end up with that shape if you were making a frame or an opening in your project. We're going to use this. So this is going to replace this layer here. So that's just a neat look. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a smaller size. So we're going to take one that can cut the opening. So you can see where I'm going with this. I think this is a good size. So this one is, if you were starting at the middle, it goes 1, 2, this would be the 3rd one out from the middle, and then the other one was the very largest one. So let's bring in our cut and emboss machine. And I'm still absolutely loving my magnetic plate. I just have to say that. Do remember though, if you have ordered the new magnetic plate, that the instructions, there's a typo. So what the real instructions should say is platform 1, then the magnetic plate, which is platform 5, and then one of the clear cutting plates. So a number 3 one. So my number 3 is not on this one here, but that's okay. So now just figure out where you want it to go, and you're going to do it so that the end is hanging off the edge. And when you put it in your machine, always when you've got a square edge, remember, just like I mentioned last week, put it in at a bit of an angle. It's easier on your machine. And it seems to cut just a little bit better. Can you see that there? Like that. All right. And there, it's all fastened down. Put this in. I'm going to pull this back just because I've got... And we're going to run it through. It was on some ink pads. Nothing like working in a surface that's a little too small. And now we have the opening. And we have this piece here. So let's move this out of the way. And this time we'll have it open from this side. So what I decided this time, I am going to bring in the stamp set on the horizon. Now, this card here, everything I'm using on this card is retiring the end of June. So it is in the mini catalog and it is not being carried forward. So remember, things from the mini catalog, if they're on your wish list, they are retiring unless they're in this current catalog, the new annual catalog, and some of these are going on sale June 1st. So be watching for that link in my newsletter. So this is one of the items that is not carrying forward. And I'm going to, the paper I'm going to put behind here this time is this. Then we can use that piece right there, right? So I'm going to do my stamping. I'm going to do Thinking of You. I think I will put it right about here. So that's, now you're getting a sneak peek as to how I do my planning. I tend to wing it a little bit too often, but that's where I'm going. So I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss. And we've been needing some just cards to encourage people going through rough times, that kind of thing. So this is going to be perfect for that. Thinking of You. And then, while I've got the ink out, I'm going to make a plan here. So I want, the opening is, where's my ruler? The opening is about 3 inches, so I want to cut it at 3.5 to begin with. There we go. And then let's just see here. So this is highly scientific. Lift this up, make a little pencil mark. I want to be just about where that pencil mark is. There, close enough. It can be more generous, not less, right? It can be wider, not narrower. There we go. So this is going to go here like that. Perfect. Now I want to put a few of these birds flying. Bring in some scrap paper because they're going to go off the edge. Let's just see here. And yeah, that's good. I could have stamped more birds, but I'm going to stop there. And we're not worried about that little flap right now, so we're going to glue this right down. Put glue around the edges. Line up those edges. I just love this designer paper, and it also is retiring. So if you love it, I've had people, it's on the low inventory right now. It's nearly sold out. And now these things will not be replenished from the mini catalog. So if it's something you want, you need to act quickly. That's sticking out a bit. I don't like that, so I'm just going to snip it off. There we go. So there we have it, just like that. And you said, well, what about the rolled back part? Well, what you can do, just like we did with the other one, we're going to use this for that. So I'm going to soften it up. And again, you could spray water on this and it would soften even more. You would just have to wait until it till it dries. So I did all of that and created one. So it just rolled it up, and here it is like this. So it looks like a little scroll. I'm going to put adhesive here, just like that. And so if it was just, so it looks like it rolled back like that. So we've glued that down, and then we're going to put some more adhesive here just so it doesn't unroll. This one is pretty rolled because I've had it rolled for a few days. I'm going to use my tweezers there, so holding it in place. Let's bring our card back and put this one, we'll just glue right down. And just putting the glue wherever I happen to feel like it. And there we go. And so there's how you can achieve that look. If the tearing sort of stresses you out, those dies work perfectly. And then to embellish that, these are also retiring, and I'm so sad, and I've only got this many left, so I need to put them on my list. The Pebbles Enamels Shapes. So let's bring in this, and we'll do one here. So these actually look really nice with this Horizons paper. And I like to just sprinkle them along and around, just like that. And I've got a bit of a mess here, but I think you get the idea. So there it is. There is the card that we just made tonight. So you could make this card with anything behind here. You can use designer paper, or you can flip it around and you can use designer paper and do the reverse, or you can go like that. And here is the one that we started with. So just like that. I don't know about you, but I am loving this. To tuck this in a gift bag or something like that, I just think it would be lots of fun. And I will fix that there. So again, the Deckled rectangles are fabulous. And here is, this is just another card where I just put designer paper in there after cutting it out with the Deckled rectangles. Now I have a few more things to share with you. So let's just bring in my goodies, my stack, and work through it. Oh, I better put the glue on my glue. First off, here is the card that we made last week, and that if you leave a comment, even if you're watching the replay, if you leave a comment, you get entered for a random draw for the card that we made. So do that today, and you'll get entered for the card that we made tonight. So this is Tara S. Your name was randomly drawn for this card. So that was when we used the dies to do the sponging over top. And then, of course, the envelope, everything's all good to go there. So I mentioned earlier, something's tippy here, about the Abstract Beauty Designer Paper class to go. The class includes 12 sheets of the Abstract Beauty Designer Paper. Now remember, I mentioned that this is a different size. It's 4 by 6, and this is the way it comes. This is retiring, and it's gorgeous paper, so I thought it would be fun to have a class with it. And also included in the class are the polished dots, a package of the polished dots to use as embellishments. I love these, and they just kind of go with whatever. So I wanted to mention that, and there is where you would go to get more information. You need to register by Saturday, so be sure to take advantage of that. The other thing is this is just a reminder. Several of you have mentioned you are interested in this amazing starter kit promotion that's going on, where you get all of these new in color things. So the an assortment of the new in color cardstock, can't talk tonight, the ink pads, and the designer paper, as well as the grid paper. And the grid paper is the different sheets in the different colors as well. So this is worth $90. So The starter kit is your most amazing deal in the book. You get $165 worth of product for $135, no shipping and handling, no GST, and then you, right now until the end of May, which is tomorrow, you get all of this, which is another $90 worth of product. So if that's something you're interested in, just act now, because it's disappearing as of midnight tomorrow. The other thing is the last chance. This starts June 1st, up to 50% off. I mentioned it from the mini catalog. So I will be posting that list. And then also starting June 1st is a BOGO sale. So BOGO means buy one, get one, 50% off. So, and this is all going to be kits. So any of the kits that you see on our website, and you can go to my website right here, and see them listed. You'll buy one kit and get the second one 50% off. And guess what? The 50% off is the most expensive one. And so anytime, if you're just buying one, it doesn't work, of course, but if you're buying two, so it's the perfect time to buy one as a gift or to take on holidays with you or whatever. So our kits come in these wonderful sturdy boxes like this, and so they're perfect for gift giving. They're perfect for taking with you to the cottage. They're perfect just to have on hand. Like right now with my husband spending most of his time in a chair, he likes me to be around. Having a kit all ready to go and just work so I'm in the same room as him is just perfect. So how do you see those? You go to my website, like I mentioned, you go here, and you'll see at the top of my website, you'll see those three lines. Click on those three lines. And then what you'll see is you can shop the products. So you'll see this to choose from. So look here, kits collection. When you click on that, you'll see all the kits that are available. Why aren't they in the catalog? Because kits are available while supplies last, and then if they sell out, they tend to replace it with a new kit. So they're not long-term things. Several months ago, I did a whole thing on kits. I'll have to find the link for that and put that in. And then I've got a few cards to share with you. This was the free tutorial in today's newsletter using the Altogether designer paper. This is using the olive branch stamp set. So it's a wonderful distinctive stamp set. And this is a sample directly from the catalog. If you look on page, I think it's page 71. So it's embossed on vellum and then on top of the Abigail Rose paper, and just works beautifully. So then I wanted a different look. This is nice and soft. This is a little bit more striking. So I just did it in the black and white and did black embossing on here. So that's how that went. Here's the Tahitian Tide one that I meant to show last week. And with the shimmery glimmer paper, that's ombre. Here is a parakeet party card. So this one is using the sending and then the stamp set we used last week, the Wisteria Wishes, but this time with it growing up, I think it's like a combine, is it, or something like that? I'm not sure what they're called. Then I'm also in a swap, and I've been receiving cards from other demonstrators, and we sort of chose a different stamp sets. So I wanted to share a few because they're more masculine related, and you might be looking at them for Father's Day. Some ideas for that. So there's this one using that set, I forget the name of it, but it has the different tools and then uses some puns and just like that, and some wood grain, which really suits the idea of the carpentry tools. So that one is by Linda Baker. Then I received this one from, it's inside here, from Cindy Willis. So, so this is, again, another play on words here. another round for your birthday, and it's even got the suds coming out the top like that. And another one used the same stamp set. So same stamp set, two totally different looks. And this one here is this great, it's a fun fold, so it's like a Z fold, but then the triangles here, and then the circle here, and then a rectangle here. It makes it a really neat looking card. And then mine was this one here. So I used the spiral die stamp in the background and went with Tranquil Tide and a Starry Sky. So, and then a little bit of Parakeet Party there, if you can see. So those are just some to share with you, and I can't wait to see what you do with this technique. I saw lots of excited comments, so I have a feeling some of you are feeling braver about trying this now. It really is pretty simple. So remember, if you need any products, you can always shop with me if you don't have a demonstrator. Here's the current hostess code. If you're watching on YouTube, you click that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Have fun.